Hello aspirants, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Madhusudan Reddy and I am the Geography and Environment faculty for you. In today's lecture, we shall be continuing with our last theme, that is India, Resource and Development. In the last chapters, we have looked into the basics of resources and what are the different types of resources, minerals, how they are extracted, industries. But today we'll go into little more detail and study with respect to India about the remaining chapters that are there in your India, Resource and Development theme. So let's quickly look into the chapters. What are these chapters? It is class 10 and class 12. These are the two books that you need to pick up, and there are repetitions of the chapters of whatever is there in the class 10 is also there in the class 12. It is like you go and look into the chapters of minerals and energy resources. Here also in the class, minerals and energy resources are there. Can you see here minerals and energy resources? And here also minerals and energy resources are there. Likewise, you go to chapter 6 here, manufacturing industries, and here chapter 8, manufacturing and industries. Now, why is this NCERT doing whatever is there in the class 9 also, again 10 also you have it in the 12th? It is because in the class 10, the very basics will be there. But when you come to class 12, little more detail mein hota hai these chapters, right? You need to know about the origin of the minerals as well as where they are found and how they are utilized and practical applications. This is what you are expected to know. So here come to the class 10 chapter 7. It is lifelines of national economy. Again, very basics, how the national economy runs through various means and ways of industries itself. This is one of the primary industries which can be established, so you need to know about that as well. On the contrary side, here you will have the perspective of geography. Perspective of geography means here the perspectives are the geographical perspectives of selected topics, issues and problems. For example, let's take climate as a component, and climate is changing over a period of time. You know that. Now, what kind of perspective do you have towards this climate change? Should I think that climate change is common and it has been happening since thousands of years, so why should I be worrying? This is one perspective that I have. Another perspective is that here the climate change is warming at a faster rate. And the climate is warming at a faster rate, the atmosphere is warming at a faster rate. Whatever the changes that we have done in the last 200 years is equivalent to the changes that have been done by the natural ways in 10,000 years. That means we are changing something that can impact us. That is a different perspective. Maybe I can establish an industry for the growth and development of the nation. But at the same time, there could be another perspective who believes in the concept of environment that, if I establish this industry, now should I look into the concept of environment first, or should I look into the employment and opportunities first? So these are the perspectives which are there in the geography, environmentalism and possibilism. For example, the concept of environmentalism, possibilism, if you look into little more detail, let's say that there is a person who is living near to the polar regions, and there is also a person who is living near to the equator. You know that those people who are staying near to the equator in these perspectives, they see, for example, if you have an environmentalist or environmentalism who is believing in the concept that environment is the one which is changing everything and anything on geography. Now, what does that fellow will tell you? If suppose these people who are living near the polar areas, they live in the Eskimos, right? And their height is shorter. Their shoulders are not broad. Now, environmentalist will say that here the temperatures are extremely cold, so that's why they wanted to keep the heat in the body with them, so that's why they always stay like this, right? Their shoulders are shrugged shoulders. They are not going to keep their body wide open because the heat in the body can escape, so that's why they have to stay in low height. So their genetical modification is also like this. But you ask an environmentalist person, he says that people in the equator are tall, dark in complexion. Why? Because too much of sun is there and there is too much of heat is there, and they wanted to release that heat from the body. So that's the reason why they release their heat through open arms and they keep their chest and wide open. Lack of food here, that is why they are having stunted and malnourishment. So this is how the environmentalist looks. But you ask another perspective, that is possibilist. You think of a possibilist. The possibilist will tell you, look at this, there is a possibility that I can make this person taller, or there is a possibility I'll go and construct a house here and maintain the temperature of the house so that they need no longer stay in the Eskimos, right? Igloos. They no longer stay in the igloos, their small houses. So this is how the possibilists will think. Now a possibilist will say that at the equatorial region there is too much of sun, so I'll create some kind of medication which can turn them fairer. This is how a possibilist thinks. So in the perspectives, that is, you need to have what kind of a perspective for a particular topic that you need to look into. And coming to the manufacturing and industries, these are common. So at one single go, we will be doing it. When it comes to planning and sustainable development, how the hill areas are developed. If you are looking into the mountainous areas, how they can be developed. If you are going for a deserts, how a desert can be developed. Likewise, transport and communication, we have already looked into these chapters, but again, one small component which I want to discuss is the inland water transportation, that is national waterways which are there within the country, that I want you to know in little more detail, right? And as this is the last lecture of the NCERT, and if you do have any questions, you can directly get in touch with us, right? And we'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. And let me also know, how did you find this particular series, and was this really helpful? And I'm very sure for those students who do not know what is geography, at least you got to know something that is there through NCERTs, and it might have interested you in some parts. It is more of practical application that you are supposed to do, rather than you just need to study these things. You need to have a broader perspective to understand geography. And in the advanced lectures of my lectures, that is Madhusudan Reddy sir's lectures, you will have a beautiful understanding into all the concepts, right? So this is NCERT, so we cannot teach you in detail in more, but when you are into the final full-fledged classes, you will have a beautiful understanding of all the topics, right? And you can also get me in touch with me as well. You can drop a message at 7382552230. That is 7382552230. This is my contact number. You can also drop a message as well if you do have any doubts. Now come to the chapters itself. Let me show you what are these chapters that you should be looking into. Number one, see, the first chapter of all of this, they are repetitions, I already told you. So we will be looking into these repetitions, and whichever is important, that we'll look into. Now first, let's quickly complete the perspectives chapter itself. In this perspective chapter, that is geographical perspective, I'll give you an overview about a particular perspective. Now like that, you can develop new case studies. These case studies which are given in this chapter, they are outdated case studies. They are little older. You can pick up your own case studies. For example, environmental pollution is there, how to have a perspective on that. Water pollution is there, how to have a perspective on that. Now let me show you, to have a different perspective, let me show you a small slide. See, you tell me what kind of perspective do you have looking at this particular image. Now look at this. The geographical perspectives can be of various types, right? Looking at this industry, how do I look? Should I have to focus on the pollution there, or should I have to focus on the employment opportunity this industry has generated to more than 3,000 people? Or should I have to focus on such an aspect where this industry is polluting the environment is polluting the people, and people getting sick and they admitted to hospitals? Should I have to focus on that part, or should I have to focus on employment opportunities? Employment opportunities ke saath saath, this is an electricity generation area, thermal power plants, it is going and litting schools, educations, hospitals, all the other entities. What kind of perspective should I have? Now this is the fundamental questions that you need to look into while you are answering or you are approaching a particular topic. See, geography mein there are two different kinds of major perspectives. Number one, that is called as environmentalism, right? Environmentalism is a concept. They believe that everything in the world is because of the environment. If people are short, environment is the reason. People are tall, environment is the reason. Climate change is happening, environment is the reason. If there is industries happening, environment is the reason. These are some things, right? So other one is possibilism. See, for example, let's take the same example. There is a person who is living in the polar area, and there is also a person who is living near to the equator. This person will be taller. And look at the perspective of the environmentalists. They say that he's short because of the environment. He's tall because of the environment, because heat is there. But possibilist will come and say that I can create a house which is bigger, and I'll create heaters in this house. I'll innovate heater. And I can change the environment in which they are living. I can create a house to them where I'll install ACs. If the temperature is too high, that is ACEs, right? If the temperature is too low, this possibilist fellow will say that I'll create an heater, right? This is two different perspectives. Now, look here, this is an industry. Without industries, we cannot also have a better quality of life, right? Environmentalists will focus on if because of this industry, the pollution they do not want. They don't want pollution. And possibilism, they will tell you that industries are important. Now these people will focus on industries, right? Industries are also important. At the same time, environment is also important. Our perspective should be in such a way, we should neither be towards the possibilism, neither be towards environmentalism. We should be somewhere in between, that is sustainable development. This should be the mid path. The modern perspective of the geography is sustainable development. Here, let's say if you're focusing too much on the environment here, even the quality of life of the tribal people who are having one of the finest environments in terms of environment, the climate and atmosphere, development is not up to the mark. You go to let's imagine you believe in the possibilism that everything can be done. If there is too much heat, ACs can be innovated. And environmentalists believe that people get adapted to the environment. Possibilists believe that the best minds are always grown in the Europe, because the temperature in the Europe is somewhere around 20 to 24 degrees Celsius, and the human do not need to adapt to extreme heat like the people in the equator and extreme colds like the people in the polar region. Rather, the European people, they have a moderate climate, so that's why they are able to relax and think better, right? This is what the environmentalists say. Possibilists will say that if there is no such environment, I'll give an AC to this person and I'll regulate 24 degrees Celsius here. If this person is having minus 5 degrees Celsius, I will give him an heater and regulate 20 degrees Celsius temperature. Now this is how possibilists believe. There is possibility to everything. Even climate change is happening, they'll find possibilities there. So in the due process, here our industry is also important and the employment opportunities are also important. Now look at sustainable development people. These people will come and say, yeah, industry is also important, but we have to reduce the pollution, right? For that, I'll go for filters. For that, I'll compensate it by planting 1 lakh trees. For this industry, you have to plant 1 lakh trees. You compensate. Because whatever the emissions that they are doing, these are new emissions which are added into the atmosphere. So you, in order to take them off, you go and plant 1 lakh trees there, so that this 1 lakh trees will absorb it on the earth. And likewise, here people who are working, they get an employment opportunity. With that, the electricity in the schools can be run, hospitals can be run, and the quality of life can be better. So environmentalists का फोकस केवल पोल्यूशन पे होता है, पॉसिबिलिज्म का इंडस्ट्री एंड इकोनॉमी के ऊपर होता है, बट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट में बैलेंस की तरफ होता है. आपका पर्सपेक्टिव भी हमेशा समवेयर इन द मिड पाथ यू नीड टू फाइंड, एंड दिस इज व्हाट द पर्सपेक्टिव इज ऑल अबाउट. In the geographical perspectives, you can approach a desertified area, how to approach that particular area, with what perspective. You go to Rajasthan. Rajasthan is one area which is deserted, but by Indira Gandhi Canal, did you not convert them into a better agricultural fields? Ganganagar districts in Rajasthan, it is now a better area where it is growing crops. Earlier there was no crops because you have bought. So likewise, this is how you are supposed to look into details. Now come to the basic entities of the chapters that are given here. See what exactly is given in these chapters. They are fundamentals. Fundamentals are these. See, same chapters we have already discussed in these chapters. Minerals and energy resources we have discussed in the previous classes, right? But why is this chapter picked up again? You know that minerals are metallic and non-metallic. Non-metallic are nothing but copper and bauxite. But here you need to know where is this copper and bauxite found, right? Copper and bauxite is metallic and non-ferrous. Metallic and non-ferrous. Copper and bauxite is metallic and non-ferrous. Where do you find metallic minerals? Now let's quickly go and look into very easy chapters. These are look here, important minerals in India are always found in few areas itself. That is the areas of Chota Nagpur Plateau. This is the area of Chota Nagpur Plateau. This is the area of the border between Maharashtra, Telangana and Chhattisgarh border. And the third area is the eastern part of Karnataka and Goa and Maharashtra, right? These are the areas where you will find the iron and majority of the iron, manganese and bauxite. Iron, manganese and bauxite. See, these three are very important. Why iron is important? Because it leads to the development of basic industry. Now, why your manganese is important? Because manganese, if you mix iron and manganese together, it will give you an alloy. Alloy is more stronger material as compared to normal iron. Now, why bauxite is required? Bauxite is required because bauxite से aluminium निकल के आता है. Aluminium से electricity distributions and basic industries, foils, packaging industries. That is why aluminiums are important. These are considered to be the basic industries. So you need to know about these basic industries, and now you need to know the names of these industries. That is number one. See here, this is one area. This is second area, the border between these three states, right? Third one is eastern part of Karnataka, and the fourth one is the Ratnagiri area, Goa and Karnataka region. First region is Chota Nagpur Plateau. This is your Chota Nagpur Plateau, right? This is the area where you name a mineral, you will get it. You name any mineral and blindly tick yes to it, 90% of the time it is right. You will find all the minerals here because Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich in all the minerals. Now come to the second area. This is the area of Bastar. आपने सुना होगा, left wing extremism is also very high here. The Bastar region and the border of Gadchiroli. This is the place where you will find Gadchiroli also in the eastern part of Maharashtra, where mines, iron ores are present. And come to the Goa region as well as the eastern part of Karnataka. So four major regions you have identified that this is the place where the important minerals are present. But now let's go to the important minerals such as bauxite. Let's go and look into the bauxite as well as other minerals in detail. Okay, let's go and look into the other minerals in little more detail. We'll be studying them. Right, now come to class 6. Let me first show you what exactly is written here. It is all about industries. So minerals and industries में, if you broadly look again, what are the different types of minerals? Repetition है, metallic, non-metallic, which you already know. But here the focus is more on where do you find these minerals. ठीक है, you see, isn't this the same diagram that is there? Eastern part of Karnataka, Ratnagiri, and the triangle three states, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and Telangana border, and Chota Nagpur Plateau. Isn't this the same map? Then why is this NCERT doing same map rotations in class 10 and here? It is because the repetitions of content will be there, but you'll learn in little more detail. So come to the non-ferrous materials. Where do you find these non-ferrous materials? See, first let me again tell you how these minerals are divided. एक बार revision भी हो जाएगा, then you'll get a better understanding here. See, minerals can be divided into two different types. One is metallic and other one is non-metallic. Let me quickly show you how the classification of minerals are there. 1. Minerals can be metallic and non-metallic. Within metallic, you can divide them into those areas where iron is present and those areas where iron is not present. Wherever you find iron or ferrous materials, you will call it as ferromagnetic substances. Now, these ferromagnetic substances are nothing but those minerals which are having iron, right? So, iron ho, manganese ho, nickel ho, cobalt ho. Iron, manganese, nickel and cobalt, these are ferromagnetic substances. Non-ferromagnetic substances are nothing but bauxite and copper. See here, bauxite and copper hai, bauxite hai, lead, tin, these are there. Now, you see, this is very much important in building construction industries, and copper, lead and bauxite, they are also important in the electrical wirings. Aluminium is used in transporting the electricity from one pole to another pole. These are the electric poles that are there. You will find that they are having the conjoints, right? This is how the electricity is distributed. For that, your copper is very, very important in the houses, and aluminum is very, very important in the outside, that is transmissions, right? So that's why these two are very important for the development. So in the due process, you need to know where are they found in India, right? Apart from that, gold, silver, platinum, there's not much importance of it, but here non-metallic minerals as well as energy minerals. Non-metallic minerals means जिसके अंदर metal नहीं है, right? They can be broadly classified into one, energy minerals, which includes coal, petroleum, natural gas, whereas non-metallic minerals, which are purely not metals, which can be found from rocks, पत्थर की मिल सकता है, limestone हो सकता है, right? Mica, right? Here sulfur, granite, marble, limestone, these are also helpful in the building industries. So here let's try to first go and identify these two. Let's learn about these two minerals in detail, then we go with respect to other chapters. Now look here, in the same chapter you'll come across where are these minerals found. One, metallic minerals. Look at this particular metallic minerals, which are ferromagnetic minerals. Where do you find this ferromagnetic minerals? You find this ferromagnetic minerals here. Let me show you. Just a minute. See, these are the areas where you will find ferromagnetic minerals. I told you 4 places are there. The first place is the Chota Nagpur Plateau area, which includes the Mayurbhanj area of Odisha. Okay? One, Mayurbhanj area of Odisha, Kendujar area of Odisha, and also Goa of Jharkhand. Okay, Goa of Jharkhand, these are the areas. One, next come to the triangle of, or the area between Maharashtra, eastern part of Maharashtra, and western part of Chhattisgarh, northeastern part of Telangana. These are the 3 areas. Now what are the famous places that you will get to see? Let me zoom in. You will get to learn that. You need to remember, number 1, Bhandara, Durga, Chandrapur and Bailadila. Bhandara, Durga, Chandrapur and Bailadila, these are the 4 major places. Now come to Goa. See, Goa and Karnataka are, Goa and Maharashtra, it is here. Ratnagiri in Maharashtra and Goa, Marmagaon. These are the areas where you will find the ferromagnetic materials. Likewise, here you will find about the Kudremukh, Chitradurg. These are the areas where you are going to get good amount of minerals. That is southeastern part of Karnataka. Southeastern part of Karnataka, northeastern part of Telangana. So these are the areas where you are going to get. But once you know where these minerals are present, can I say these are ferromagnetic minerals? Ferromagnetic substances, which includes iron, manganese, nickel, cobalt, iron, manganese, nickel, cobalt. To an extent, bauxite and copper can also be found, because bauxite and copper are also your non-ferromagnetic substances, but majorly these are the minerals which can be found here, right? Now let's see, for the establishment of an industry, what is the right location? You should also link it with the industry and try to understand, because the chapters are interlinked here. The chapters are, it is also about manufacturing industries. In the manufacturing industries, they say, let's try to link both of them. What are the major factors that are responsible for setting up of an industry? Now you learn that where is this iron present? Iron is present in majorly in 4 major areas. You know that if the iron ore is present there, what are the different kinds of ores? If I have to set up an iron ore industry there, what are the raw materials that are required and what are the conditions that are required to set up my industry? So we'll be mixing up all the chapters that are there and try to give a suitable understanding to you, right? And this is how you are supposed to learn. Now let's see, first, for setting up of any industry, there are few fundamental entities that are very, very important. That is, you need 4 major entities: land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. Okay? See, you need 1, land, you also need labor. Okay? Land and labor, right? Capital on entrepreneurship. You need capital and you need entrepreneurship, which is not written here. It is right. These are the fundamental entities. Apart from that, you need electricity, you need the power, good quality of power. Can I say this is power is required, and raw materials are required. So these raw materials can be varying with respect to varying industry. For example, let me take iron. For iron ore industry, the raw materials that are required are iron ore, limestone, right, coal. These are the three major raw materials that are required. Apart from that, you also need water. That means these are the raw materials. But if I am taking a cotton textile industry, my raw materials are cotton and the industry. For example, if I am going for aluminium, my raw materials are bauxite. Wherever bauxite is there I will go, and I also need a good amount of electricity in extracting the aluminium. Aluminium industries can be found wherever you find the electricity generation plants are there. It requires huge amount of electricity in the aluminium extraction, right? So every industry has its own raw materials. So these raw materials are also unique to a particular industry, right? So we'll take one raw material and try to understand how they are interlinked with each other, right? Okay. Likewise, you also need communication, you also need transportation, right? So these are the basic entities that are required. Transportation is very, very important. It can be done through waterways, it can be done through roadways. Railways are cheaper, waterways are cheaper, roadways are costlier. These are some things that you need to know. Now come to first iron ore industry, and let's try to understand how this iron ore industry works. And there are different kinds of industries. For example, these are the basic entities that are required for an industrial setup. So you also need to know where I should set up my industry. Should I set up my industry near to the, if suppose this is where I get my raw material, okay, and my market is, this is where is the market. This market is somewhere around 300 kilometers away from my raw material, right? So this is the raw material which I get for my industry, and this is 300 kilometers away from the raw material. Now should I have to set up my industry here? Okay, should I have to set up my industry here, or should I have to set up my industry here? It all depends on what kind of an industry it is. So to understand the locational setup of an industry, first we need to know, is this industry a weight gaining industry or a weight losing industry? There are two different kinds of industries. One is weight gaining, weight losing. For example, let's say an X industry is called as weight gaining. Okay, there are two different kinds of industries. Let's imagine one is weight gaining, other one is weight losing, right? So first let's see if this is the size of the raw material and the weight. It is always calculated in weight also. If this is the weight of the raw material, let's say the weight of the raw material is 500 kgs. Let's imagine the weight of the raw material is 500 kgs. Okay, and the final product weight is 150 kgs, right? Are you gaining the weight or are you losing the weight? This is your final product. You are going to lose the weight. Likewise, if weight gaining is, if this is the size of the raw material which is 100 kgs, or and the final product is somewhere around 250 kgs. Let's imagine, I'm just giving an imagination. So this is what is weight gaining. If suppose, in order to look into these two, for me, if I have to put this into a truck, let's imagine I have to put this into a truck. So this is the truck which it need to be put into, right? So here, this truck which is there, if it has to carry this raw material, isn't it too heavy for the truck? And the cost of transportation for this is very high. Here you will see, for this truck to take here, and then the raw material cost is very heavy. Transportation cost will be heavy, right? For example, if I am setting up my industry near to the market, let's say I have set up my industry near to the market. This is the final product and my industry, and this is the market. Let's say, let's go to the previous case. And if suppose the case number 1, look here, let's go to the previous case. The previous case is, first condition is weight losing. Let's say this is number 1, this is number 2. Weight losing industry, should I have to set up my industry here or here? Should I have to set up my industry at place A or at place B? Where do I have to set up my industry in the case of weight losing? Weight losing, where do I have to set up? The distance is here 300 kilometers, the market distance is. Should I have to set up my industry next to the raw material or next to the final product? It is simple. Here we need to take the transportation into account. Transportation into account, and this transportation, what you are supposed to do is, suppose if you are setting up an industry here, this is the raw material, and you are planning to set up an industry here. Let's say this is the truck which wants to carry this 500 kgs raw material and take it to the market nearby and set up an industry. So you are burning more fuel and the cost of transportation will be more, and final product, it has to be converted into 150 kg and then it is need to be sent into the market. So you are actually transporting a heavy material and the cost of transportation will be more high, because this particular industry, if you are setting up your industry here, let's say you have set up your industry here itself next to the raw material, do you require to carry such heavy material in the trucks? No. You can finally manufacture the product and then the final products you can easily transport. These final products which are converted into a products you can easily transport, and this transported material which is there, it can be sent to the market. Let's say it is sent to the market and this product can be sold in the market, right? So in total, if you are a weight losing industry, if the raw material is very heavy and weight losing industry, you have to set up your industry next to the raw material. But in the other case, if the raw material is not heavy and it is gaining the weight, for example, cotton is there, cotton textile gains the weight, right? If that is the industry, then you have to set up your industry next to the market. If the weight final product is gaining, you have to set up next to this. So let's take this as an example, that is your iron and steel industry, and let's first go and learn where do we find this iron, and let's look into this iron and steel industry in detail. See, iron is a mineral, right? Mineral is nothing but collection of elements and impurities. Iron is present in various forms. Iron is always present in the ore form. This is your ore. It has 4 different types of ores. What is an ore? Ore is nothing but it is having iron in this, imagine these red dots are irons. Along with the iron you might also find some impurities, right? These are some impurities which are not useful in the manufacturing of any kind of element. So here what you are supposed to do is you have to burn this off, convert into liquid, and then get the extract the iron and use that iron for making products, right? So here, number 1, if you have impurities plus minerals, that is called as an ore. Now this iron is present in 4 different forms. 1, it is present in the form of hematite ore. This is your hematite ore, magnetite ore, siderite ore and limonite ore. 4 अलग अलग ore पे, मतलब 4 अलग अलग पत्थर पे present है. If you are going and looking into a magnetite ore, in this magnetite rock, let's say that is magnetite ore, in this you find the iron percentage is 72% of it is going to be iron. If you are going for a rock which is hematite, in the hematite, in this the iron content will be somewhere around 70% of it will be your hematite, right? Likewise, you go into limonite, it is only 50% of the rock will be having iron, right? Or the ore. Go to siderite, it has only 30%. Any rock which is having less than 30%, there are good number of rocks in that rocks cannot be used for industrial purposes. If that is less than 30%, 30% से नीचे है, it cannot be used for industrial purposes. But there are many rocks which are having less than 30%. We do not take them into consideration. Majorly, we take these four entities into account, and that too, it is magnetite, hematite, lyonite, and siderite. Right. So here, magnetite is high in Karnataka. Hematite is high in the Chota Nagpur plateau. Right. Now, these are the facts. Let's see, where do you find them in the world? We have already seen this in the previous classes. So, how this iron is manufactured? Basically, to establish an iron industry, you need certain raw materials. What are the raw materials? One, you need coal. Okay? You need iron ore and limestone. You need iron ore, limestone, and coal. These are the three entities that are required. So when you mix these three and burn it off, then you will get iron, right? Steel conversion will be there. But it is not that easy the way you think. So you go here. That means if I have to establish an industry of iron ore here, what are my raw materials? I need coal also. I need iron ore also, right? And I also need limestone. Yaar, limestone is a this is non-metallic. This is non-metallic. Okay? This is also non-metallic. And this is metallic. Right? I need different kinds of minerals that are required. So, one, let's say these are the areas where I have to get all the raw materials. And where imagine my market is 300 kilometers away. This is the area of my market. So I have to set up my industry somewhere here. This is my industry. This is my industry. I have to set up my industry here. Finally, the product which I am going to get, I have to transport it to this particular area. Right? Because my raw material is very heavy. Look here. You need 8 tons of coal plus 4 tons of iron ore plus 1 ton of limestone just for 1 ton of steel. 1 ton of steel ke liye you need this many raw materials. 8 plus 4 plus 1. Almost 13 tons of raw materials. That means the size of the raw material, if it is this size, the final product is only of this size. So it is not a weight gaining or losing, it is weight losing. So I'll set up my industry somewhere here. But the biggest problem in India is, do you have coal also, iron ore also, limestone also in one single place in India? If you have it, then only you can set up your industry of iron ore. Else, इनमें से सबसे कम weight raw material जो होगा, whichever is the lowest weight raw material, what you will do is you will get that you from far distances if it is not available nearby. Right? Now let's go and check how the iron extraction will be done and where do you find the iron and steel plants today. You look, iron and steel plants are mostly concentrated in these areas. Chota Nagpur Plateau, I already told you this is one area, and the Karnataka region. That means these are the only 3 areas where you are going to find iron and steel industry, nowhere else. That is one in the Chota Nagpur Plateau, the Goa Karnataka region, right? These are the only areas you are going to get iron. Where else do you find? Do you have iron in the Jammu and Kashmir? No. Northeast mein no iron. Rajasthan no iron. Uttar Pradesh no iron. Madhya Pradesh no iron. Gujarat no iron, right? So majorly this is the only belt which I am going to have iron. Why? Because iron is a weight losing product. So the raw material is heavy and you need to have the final product little lighter weight, and the combination of raw materials are required. That is, you need the raw materials of, you need coal, you need limestone, you need iron ore. All of these, where do you find? The best quality materials in India are found in somewhere in the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay? This Chota Nagpur Plateau, the first industry that was set up in India before independence was the Tata Steel plant in the year 1907. Right? Now, you might have heard about Tisco plant, that is Tata plant. Also, you might have heard about the Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur was a very small, tiny village, In fact, that village is an industrial village. Today, it is an industrial city. Back in 1947, they choose this particular village for the establishment of the entire industry. Let's say this is your Jamshedpur. I'll draw it here. Let's say this is your Jamshedpur. The beauty of Jamshedpur is that from one side you get a river by the name Subarnareka and it flows like this, and the other side you have another river by the name, this is the river Karkhoi. This is Karkhoi and this is Subarnareka. That means this is the confluence of two rivers and water ka koi kami nahi hai. There's no deficit in the water. Now you need coal, limestone, iron ore. These are the three major raw materials that are required for you. Apart from that, you also need power, you also need labor, you also need transportation, right? So this part of the region is located here. If this is your India and this is the Chota Nagpur plateau. Next to this Chota Nagpur plateau, your Kolkata is not far away. This is your Kolkata and you have market here. You also have port here and the tribal people are present here. Who? Santals, Beals, all the tribal people are present here. So that's the reason why you went in for the setting up of the iron and steel plant here. Kyuki labor is present, right? Here, Karkhoi river is there and you built a railway track. The railway track was built. Why? Because you also have the iron ore. This is your iron ore, which is Bir Mittarpur. Sorry, in the Bir Mittarpur, you find limestone. This is your limestone. This is limestone in the Bir Mittarpur. And come to the Pamposh. This is your Pamposh area. In the Pamposh, you're going to get iron ore. So from Pamposh, this is your iron ore. Right? Next, come to the Jharia, this is the river Damodar. On the river Damodar valley, you find the coal fields. This is Jharia coal fields. Here you find coal. Here you find iron ore. Here you find limestone. दो तीन चीज चाहिए ना, दुनिया का सबसे बेस्ट, world's best location is found here, and just at a distance of, this is 100 kilometers, this is 110 kilometers, this is 90 kilometers, just within a confluence of 80 to 90 to 100 kilometers. And from here the Kolkata is 250 kilometers or 300 odd kilometers. That means the beauty is that at one single place you find the major minerals, and also you find manganese as well. Look here, you might find manganese as well. This manganese is also found in Sultanpati. Here also you find manganese. Now why do we need manganese here? Why do we need manganese? Manganese is required because if you want to make from the iron, you want to make a steel, you need definitely manganese. वो alloy बनता है जो stronger material है. It becomes an alloy, it becomes more stronger. You need that kind of materials. So that's why you have all the materials, and you went on building a railway track from in this particular road to this particular area. From here, you also built a railway track to the Kolkata, right? And wherever the raw materials are there, you build railway tracks, and these railway tracks you have connected to the places, and this is how the industry of Tata Steel plant has been developed, right? One, you have coal from Jharia coal mines, you have the limestone from Bir Mittarpur, iron ore from Pamposh, three major entities. Look, this is the same diagram which is there in your NCERT. This is your Pamposh, iron ore, Sulalpati, iron ore, Guru Maisani, iron ore, right? Bir Mittarpur, limestone, Jharia, coal fields, right? और पानी का कमी नहीं है. There's no available, मतलब there's no shortage of labor, because here you have the Santals, Beals. These tribal populations, they need work, and this work is provided by the British and the India, the then time period 1907. Everyone wanted job, they got this job, and people are able to witness the first industry in India. This is your Tata Steel plant, right? This Tata Steel plant is the first industry. Later on, a similar kind of setups have come up. Now, itna badhiya location, the finest location is not even there, even in any place across the world. So this is the locational values of a particular industry, and this is how you need to study, right? Now come back, you also have Rourkela steel plant, which is in Odisha. Odisha, it is also same, Bir Mitrapur is here, and also the Rourkela, which is at the confluence of the river, that is Brahmani river, right? Koyal river is again coming. So you set up multiple industries. When you go across, Hirakund dam is there, water is given, right? Power supply is given, and at the end today you have this iron and steel industries located in these places. That is number one. In this area, that's it. Except for Vishakhapatnam, this is an exception. Vishakhapatnam is an exception. Vishakhapatnam steel plant was set up in the year 1990. Even without the presence of there is no raw material present here, and only reason it is established is we wanted to export it to the Japanese area. We wanted to export. We had a contract that we'll be exporting the steel. That's why the steel plant is set up. But forcefully this steel plant was set up, and this steel plant is making losses because all the raw materials are somewhere 500 kilometers away. Look here, from here the raw materials are coming. You are manufacturing steel here, you are bringing in the heavy raw materials and making a small product, and from here you are exporting. Rather, you should have created an alternative means and ways through which this need to be exported. Today it is making losses. You go and look into the current affairs, the Ispat steel plant, this steel plant is completely making losses, right? So if this is making losses, then what's the use? In India currently you have majorly, these are the 10 steel plants. One is Tata, Jamshedpur, ठीक है. Here यहाँ पे pig iron बनाया जाता है. Pig iron मतलब little pure form of iron, right? Pig iron is little pure form of iron. More content of iron will be there in the pig iron, right? Now, Indian Iron and Steel Company, which is located in West Bengal, Vishveshwaraya Iron and Steel, this is located in Karnataka, Hindustan that is Chhattisgarh, Hindustan Steel Rourkela, Hindustan Steel Durgapur. Like that, you have today a majority of 10 steel plants are located, and you also have private owned companies and government public owned companies all together. In totality, these are the industries which actually are driving the country from the fundamentals. That is, the basic industries are developed by this. I'll step aside. I just want you to look in the order of how they are developed, and look at Vishakhapatnam steel plant. This is the last steel plant which is located in the year 1980s, right? Okay. Okay, right? Clear? Now come to the next industry. Our next industry is your manganese, right? Where do you find manganese? It is also found in the same place wherever you find iron, because it is also a heavy industry. And this manganese, the important aspect of the manganese is that this manganese is also used in manufacturing of the steel. Iron is different from steel. See, from the ore of iron, that is hematite or magnetite, you manufacture iron. And this iron can be of multiple types. It can be crude iron, it can be pig iron. Crude iron and pig iron means, in simple terms, this is the ore is completely removed with impurities, and pure iron जो बचता है ना, उसे कहते हैं pig iron. Crude iron is little with impurities more. If suppose in this particular iron it is very pure, that it is not very strong, ठीक है? To make this iron little more stronger, what do you do is you add manganese to it. How much percentage? You add 6% of the manganese to it, ठीक है? The quality of the iron increases, and then this can become steel. ठीक है? The quality of the iron increases, and then that can be converted into steel. Steel is an alloy. Steel in natural form में मिलता ही नहीं है. You can have stainless steel. Again, a mixture of another material is done. So there can be stainless steel, there can be steel, right? So in that, iron component will be there, and you will add manganese to it, then that becomes steel. Steel, naturally it is not found in the earth. Wherever you have iron ores, from there you will have steel. So this manganese is also used in producing alloys of copper. Ab copper ke saath you take copper and mix with manganese, that material will become stronger. Bronze, nickel, you take all these products and mix manganese with them, that becomes an alloy. Alloys are more stronger as compared to the pure materials, right? This is the work of the alloys, right? It is used for producing heavy machinery, right? Tools, bleaching powders, insecticides and paints, right? These are the major. Now, where do you find the best manganese across the world? South Africa, Australia, China, Gabon, Brazil. India is nowhere. 30% of it is in South Africa itself, right? So when it comes to India, where do you find the most of the manganese? It is found in Madhya Pradesh and it is found in Maharashtra, right? Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, these are the two areas. Apart from that, other entities, wo itna milta nahi hai. You need to know the basics of it. Now come to aluminium. See, the biggest aspect with the aluminium is that aluminium comes from a ore. From where does this aluminium come? Aluminium comes from the bauxite. See, this is your aluminium, right? This aluminium ka ore kya hai? Ore is bauxite. This is your bauxite. Bauxite is the ore. That means you take a bauxite, in that you will find aluminium, right? These are your aluminium and rest of the amount can be your impurities. Let's say these are all your impurities. So from this you extract the pure aluminium. Now to extract this aluminium, you need a solution. Okay? You need a solution. Why? What kind of solution is required? See, that is called as cryolite. Cryolite is a liquid, and to extract from the bauxite, imagine this is your bauxite and this is your aluminium. To extract this, in between, the bauxite is converted into powder and that powder is put into a liquid and it is given extreme voltage of electricity, and that extreme voltages of the electricity will be put in a cryolite solution, and finally the pure aluminium will be extracted. So you need not know the process in detail. In simple terms, look here, what happens is that you have bauxite. Bauxite is the ore. Now this bauxite say up alumina. Alumina is nothing but the powdery form of the bauxite. You crush them and you remove the impurities out of it. That becomes your alumina. Now here this alumina, what does it do is it is put into a solution called cryolite. What is cryolite? It is a molten material. It is a molten material which acts as an electrolyte. Now for this solution which is there, you need electricity. Very high voltage of electricity. It is 18,600 kilowatts per ton. 18,600 kilowatts per ton of voltage is required. Kilowatt per hour. Very, very high electricity voltage is put into that. Then becomes the aluminium becomes very purer format, and you will extract them. You convert into sheets. You convert into wires. Whatever you want, you can do. Right? But one thing is common here, that to extract aluminium, what are the raw materials? Two things. Here, the first raw material that is required for you is bauxite. You need bauxite. Plus, the second raw material that is required for you is electricity. Now, is bauxite a metallic or non-metallic? It is a metallic mineral which is non-ferromagnetic substances. Non-ferromagnetic substances. There is no non-ferro. It is a non-ferromagnetic substances. It is a metallic mineral which is non-ferromagnetic substances. Now, where do you find this bauxite in India? See, bauxite industry is set up, one in Uttar Pradesh, 2 in Chhattisgarh, Korba, 3 in Hirakund, 4 in Angul, right? Likewise, 2 in Tamil Nadu. Now, there is a logical understanding for the setting up of these industries. I told you 2 raw materials. One is bauxite, right? Second one is electricity, and it needs heavy electricity. 18,600 kilowatts of that is the electricity that is required. So this electricity can be transported without any losses wherever you have hydro power projects, right? wherever you have dams and wherever you have bauxite ore available nearby, that is where you are going to set up your aluminium industry. So this aluminium industry, you will find them, number one, you look here, this is your Metro Dam complex. Metro Dam, this is Metro Dam, right? And this is Salem. This is one, Kolli Mines. Kolli Mines is the place where you will find this bauxite. So this dam is there, electricity is there, bauxite is there, then you have set up. Likewise, here also you find a decent amount of electricity, right? So that is why you find the aluminium industry set up, right? Electricity is definitely required. So usually the production of aluminium sometimes come down because of the summer's intense heat, and climate change can also impact the extraction of these aluminium minerals as well, right? Okay. Now other major industries that you need to look into is software. देखो ये तो mines and minerals में there are many other mines and minerals, each and every mines and minerals. I don't think it is very important to go through, but this is how you are supposed to understand. Now come to another industry, that is your cotton textile. This is a weight losing or weight gaining industry. It is a weight gaining industry. See, firstly, let's imagine that you got this is the plant. From this plant you got the extraction of cotton. You got the extraction of the cotton, you have taken the cotton, from the cotton you have extracted the fibers, right? Now these fibers are produced. Fibers, what are they do? You spin the fibers and you make a spinning lot. This is called as spinning. Spinning is, again, it is used to knit in the sense you take different threads and you knit it, it becomes a cloth, right? Finally, this is sent for dyeing, color, various colors will be given to you, your clothing, and then garment manufacturer. Uske upar again they might put some stones, zari work, like that, different kinds of work will be there, right? So in the due process, the cotton itself is gaining the weight at every place. You are adding color to it, you are also adding the garment manufacturers, you give some kind of buttons to it, like that the product weight is going to increase at the end. So this is a weight gaining to an extent. And cotton textile industries India में कहाँ पे सेटअप किया जा सकता है? Where can you establish this cotton? See, this cotton can be established, number one, it can be established in those places where you grow good amount of cotton. First of all, this is the areas where the cotton is widely grown, right? So cotton is grown in the black soil area. One majority of the cotton can be seen in the black soil area. Isn't this the black soil that I've told you about the soils? Majority of the cotton is grown in this part of the area जहाँ पे black soil है, right? And in the southern areas also, some industries are also set up here because of various particular reasons, right? There are 3 belts of textile industries, and you go to the Bangladesh area, and here also you find jute. Jute is also part of textile industry. But where is jute grown? Jute grown in an area where large amounts of water is present. Okay? Jute is grown like this. Likewise, this is your cotton textile industries. Now, why these cotton textile industries are set up next to this cotton growing areas? Number one, see, cotton is a raw material which is used, but for this initially during the times of British, what happened was, this is your England, somewhere in the Europe. From England, they brought machinery and they set up their machinery and their industries in the Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Rajkot and Mumbai, because there are ports in Mumbai, right, and in parts of Gujarat. So they used to get the cotton here, manufacture, they used to take the raw material back to their own country, they used to manufacture and bring the final product back into India and sell the final product in India, right? This is what they were doing. But little later, they also set up their own industries in India as well. अब raw material ले रहा है, final product बना रहा है, they used to sell it to us back, and we are happily able to buy that. Now, why in this area is because here good availability of water is there, and in Pakistan also good availability of water is there, right? So in a nutshell, when you look into, it is only 3 areas, 1, 2 and 3 areas, that is where your cotton textiles are there. Now cotton needs good amount of humidity. Humidity matlab it should be little high in terms of moisture present in the atmosphere, so that the quality of the cotton becomes little heavier and the strength of the cotton will be more. So they have chosen coastal areas, and over a period of time technology came in, and this technology, humidifiers कोई भी रूम में लगा सकते हो आप. That means you take a pipe and put a hole to the pipe, small holes where the water throws out into that room, and put a small heater, that becomes little humid. So such kind of conditions can be seen everywhere across India now. This is what is cotton textile industry. Raw materials required are number one, a good market is required. Likewise, you look into jute. See, this jute also is found in those areas which are on the areas जहाँ पे पानी ज़्यादा है. The fundamental raw material that is required is water. So these areas where the water is good available, in this Ganga belt is there, right? Brahmaputra, and here Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna. Wherever you have these rivers, across the rivers you will grow some jute, because jute is a water intensive crop, right? Same jute, similar process, the cotton is extracted, jute is also extracted the same way, right? So this is also an industry that you can study. Now come to our next components that are in the industries and minerals. See, minerals, there are endless numbers. Look here, minerals and energy, it talks about what is the coal. अब coal कहाँ मिलता है? Coal, how many types of coal is there? Let's quickly go and look into the different types of coals that are there. See, coal in India is present majorly in the areas of valleys. It is found in valleys. Wherever the coal is found majorly in India is valleys. And look here, the valleys are one. This is your Damodar Valley, Mahanadi Valley, Godavaris, and in Jammu and Kashmir, here you find the top quality coal. This is the top quality coal, which is anthracite coal is found here, right? And bituminous coal is found in majority of the parts of India. Neyveli is peat type of coal. This is your Neyveli, this is peat type of coal. Now first let's see what are the different types of coals. There are 4 different types of coals. Number 1, it is anthracite, bituminous, lignite and peat. The top quality coal is anthracite. ठीक है? It is called as anthracite. Anthracite is a top quality coal जिसके अंदर carbon content is very high. How much high? The carbon content is somewhere around 95. If you have more carbon content, it will burn with a blue flame and give you good amount of heat, but it will burn very fast. So do we have anthracite coal in India? Yes, only one place that anthracite coal in India is found, only in Kashmir. Where is this? Look here, this is the place where you're going to find the anthracite coal. Nowhere else in India you find. And you go to USA, majority of the coal in USA, it is found in the anthracite coal. USA में सबसे ज़्यादा coal जो है ना वो anthracite coal होता है. And bituminous coal comparatively they have less. So this is one. Come to bituminous. Bituminous or coking coal. Now this is the coal which is used in industry, right? The coal which is used in industry, and it is found in India in a good amount, right? It is found in India is good amount, and most used variety of coal. It is the most popular coal in the commercial use. That means industry में. Apart from this, there are 2 other types of coals. That is your lignite or brown and peat. So lignite का जो carbon percentage है 35 to 45 and peat का carbon percentage है 30 to 35. Right? So it is 35 to 45 and 30 to 35. So these are little low quality coals. We don't use them in industry. Maybe household purposes and all we use. जहाँ पे quality of coal is weaker or else carbon content जो कम होता है ना, if it is less, it will give so much of smoke and it will not burn properly. It will not give good amount of heat. But the coal of bituminous and the coal of anthracite, one which has near about 70 to 90% of the carbon in it, if you take this coal and burn it, it will give you good amount of heat also, and it will burn for longer time period also, bituminous. So over anthracite India में कम है, but it is the best quality of coal. What India did is, India has taken bituminous as the industry grade coal. We get coal in Jharia, we get coal in the Jharkhand, Chota Nagpur Plateau, Jharia coalfields, Damodar Valley coalfields. Now anthracite in Jammu and Kashmir also you will find. But bituminous is taken because in the industry we need a coal which can give good amount of heat and can burn longer time period. We don't want a coal which can burn in just very quick time period and give large amounts of heat. That is anthracite. But bituminous, it will burn for longer time period as compared to anthracite, and it can give good amount of heat which is required for the industry. So that's why we have chosen bituminous coal as the coal. Now where is it found? This bituminous coal is found in this region. These are the areas. Where is lignite coal? It is in Tamil Nadu, Neyveli. Right? These are the areas where you are going to get the coal. Right? These are some things. Coal reserves, very, very basics. Right? This is what you need to know. Right? So likewise, we have already looked into what are conventional energy sources, non-conventions. In the previous classes itself, we have seen this. So that is what is required for you to know in these chapters. Right? That is what is your minerals. Right? Coal. Now come to the further topics, that is manufacturing. Also same, it is what are the locations that are required, kahan pe setup kiya jayega, these all things we have looked into a detailed manner. I think you now have a better understanding about these chapters, right? Okay, just give me a minute. And planning and sustainable development also you have looked into, right? Planning and sustainable development we have already looked into, but I want you to see this particular chapter, that is just give me a minute. See, all the chapters in the NCERT are not very important. Only few chapters are important. Lifelines of national economy, it talks about how the national economy runs because of the major industries as well as some major transportation routes. What are those transportation routes? Let's quickly look into. See, very easy. This major transportations are, number one, it can be, transportation can also be done on the land, it can be done on the water, and it can be done in the air. Now for air, it can be domestic, it can be international, right? For water, it can be inland, it can be in the ocean. And for land, it can be roadways, it can be railways, or it can be pipelines, right? Land, rail, roadways and pipeline. Water, it can be inland and it can be outward, that is ocean. Air, it can be domestic and it can be international. मतलब ये जो transportation है इंडिया में कैसे हो रहा है, how is this taking place in India, this is what you need to know in this chapter. Very simple understandings. The similar is also written in the international trade. ये international trade कैसे हो रहा है? So majority of the international trade happens through ports. So what are these ports? What are the names of the ports that you need to know? It is just the ports. Let me show you the international trade first and then we'll look into the other aspects. See, the international trade in India is majorly taking place through these ports. What are these ports? Look at this. The ports are one. You go to these are the major ports, minor ports or bhi hai. We'll look into that minor ports as well. But first look, international trade kaise hoga? It is Kandla port. You know what kind of industries are there in Gujarat? यहाँ पे textile industry है, right? Petrochemical industries are there. Petroleum products are there here. Reliance, Jamnagar, right? So textiles. जहां टेक्सटाइल्स होगा उनका कलर भी करना होगा, राइट? डाइंग भी होगा, राइट? डाइंग इंडस्ट्रीज, फर्टिलाइजर इंडस्ट्रीज आर ऑल्सो प्रेजेंट हियर. सो दैट्स वाई यू हैव textile industries, fertilizer industries, as well as the petrochemical industries are well exported to this part of the region, right? And they are imported also. West coast, it is near to the Arabia and easy transportation of the entire shipping routes and they can reach here. Now Mumbai and Jawaharlal Nehru port, actually the port of Mumbai and Jawaharlal Nehru, the story is one port was extremely busy. When the one port was extremely busy, another port was set up to ease one of the ports here. So that's why these two ports supplement and complement each other. They wanted to take the burden out of it. The Mumbai port ka burden nikalna chahta hai Jawaharlal Nehru port, right? Likewise, they wanted to ease out because the burden was so high and the length of this port is near about 25 kilometers length is there for this port. What kind of materials? Textiles, oil and natural gas, which is there, petrochemicals and fertilizers are exported and imported from here. Come to Marmagaon port. This is the place where shipbuilding is done. ठीक है, ships बनते हैं यहाँ पर. Mangaluru port in Karnataka, Kochi port, Kerala, fishing. Tuticorin Port. These are the names that you are supposed to remember. Chennai Port, Ennore Port. These are both in Tamil Nadu. Come to Andhra Pradesh. This is Visakhapatnam Port. This is the place where steel plant was also set up. Now this steel plant is the one which is wanting to, this is the steel plant, right? Steel plant is, this is the steel plant which is exporting to Japan. Now come to Paradip Port and Kolkata Port. In total, these are the ports which help in going across the transportation lines. All the transportation lines which are there, these are there in India, right? So यही है आपका इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड. बाकी रोडवेज एंड रेलवेज देखो यार, देर इज गोल्डन क्वाड्रिलेटरल एंड देर इज डायमंड क्वाड्रिलेटरल विच आई हैव ऑलरेडी टॉट टू यू इन द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन चैप्टर ऑफ द प्रीवियस टाइम पीरियड. दैट इज, इफ दिस इज दिल्ली, यू वांट टू कनेक्ट दिल्ली, मुंबई, बेंगलुरु, ठीक है, एंड कोलकाता, द रोड्स दैट आर कनेक्टिंग दीज प्लेसेस आर कॉल्ड एज golden quadrilateral. And if you, the railway that is connecting these areas are called as diamond quadrilateral. You also have north south, right? So, and you also wanted to connect the east west, right? So here this is 2, 4, 7, 8, the highway numbers, but these highway numbers have been changed. The numbering system of the highways have been changed. So this, you need not remember what is the name of a highway, what is the name of this particular route, that particular route. It is not important for you any longer, because government has changed all the nomenclatures of the names of these highways. That's it. So look here, one is north south corridor, east west corridor. Now let me point out to the golden quadrilateral route here. Golden quadrilateral route jo hai, it is this. Let me please follow this stencil. The golden quadrilateral rule is Delhi to Delhi, you'll reach Ahmedabad and to Mumbai. From Mumbai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Chennai, then to Kolkata, Kolkata back to Delhi. This is the route, right? This is called as golden quadrilateral. Now, golden quadrilateral ko, you are also connecting the southernmost point of India, that is Kanyakumari, and you wanted to connect it through almost the Amritsar, right? This is what is your north-south corridor. Likewise, the easternmost point and westernmost point also you wanted to connect. So what you have done is, you have chosen the westernmost point, that is Porbandar, jahan Gandhi to almost you wanted to reach to the northeastern area, that is Imphal and Silchar. This is your east-west corridor. So Porbandar to Silchar is your east-west corridor, right? Amritsar to Kanyakumari, or else Kashmir to Kanyakumari, is the north-south corridor. Golden quadrilateral is Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai and Kolkata to Delhi. This is what is golden quadrilateral. Itna yaad karna chahiye. Golden quadrilateral, no one is going to ask you in the examinations that this is 2, this is 4, this is 6, this is 8, this is 10. No one will ask you, right? Because government khud hi confused hai. Earlier this was NH5, this used to be NH5, now it became NH16. So government, what did it do, you know, all the roads which are moving north to south or south to north, they are given even number. All the roads which are moving in the horizontal manner, either east to west or west to east, these are given odd number. So that means if you find an odd number, it is an indication that it is a road which is following a particular latitude, or it is a road which is moving east west or west to east. A road number which is having even numbers. Now in the today's time period, even numbers are given to those roads which are moving north south, or which are connecting two places of north south. This is what is something which you need to know, right? Okay. International trade also, it is the same thing that has been written in this particular entity. And coming to the last component, that is your planning and sustainable development. Here in the planning and sustainable development, you are supposed to understand one entity. Along with that, one more small component that I wanted to discuss, क्योंकि ये NCERT में दिया है. So I want to put straight the facts here. Look here. Number 1, these are the national waterways. National waterways means we are using the rivers for our trade purposes. In that top 5 national waterways, you need to remember. The first one is Allahabad to Haldia. Allahabad to Haldia. Allahabad to Haldia. This is National Waterway 1. Right? Now come to National Waterway 2. It is Sadia to Dhubri in Assam on the river Brahmaputra. Right, this is National Waterway 2. Come to the National Waterway 3. It is Kottapuram to Kollam. Okay, Kottapuram to Kollam in Kerala. Come to National Waterway 4 from Kakinada to Puducherry. This is another inland waterway route. Right. Likewise, you come to National Waterway 5. This National Waterway 5 is from the canals of Talcher. From Talcher, see, this is your Talcher, and from Talcher to Brahmani. Brahmani to Talcher, this is the area that is the 5 national waterways that are given here. Right, there are 100 plus national waterways, but the 5 major rivers that are involved are, one is Ganga, Godavari, Krishna. See, this is Krishna, this is Godavari, this is Mahanadi, that is Brahmaputra, and these are west flowing canals. Backwaters को इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. Right, Kayals, they are also called as Kayals. Kayals are backwaters. So in totality, this is what you need to know about the transportation routes as well. Now come to the last component of this particular series. See, before this, I wanted to tell you that it's a humble attempt from my side to give you the conceptual clarity wherever it is required. Though it is an NCERT class, I went beyond giving some understandings in the conceptual clarity. I hope you find it little interesting, and if you are thinking in the lines of geography as an optional, blindly go for it. It is one of the finest subjects that can help you. I'm really telling those students who have cleared in the past few years, who have been my humble students, the hard work that I put, they also put double the hard work to my hard work, and finally they have cleared. There are students who have cleared who got more than 300 and cleared just with their optional score. If you have understood my lectures, then you are inclined towards geography, blindly go for it. It can do wonders to you. Because think, where did we start? We started our journey somewhere in the galaxies, the Big Bang theory ke saath. Where are we ending? The national waterways, the hill area development, which I'm going to discuss now, ports, mines, minerals, such a vast knowledge that you're going to have in this particular optional in detailed manner. You can write any GS answer other than history. Okay? You can write any GS answer other than history. That is something this particular geography as an optional has. So you can always think towards this, and if you are inclined towards that, let me also know. I would be very happy to help you in this direction. My contact number is 7382552230. 7382552230. You can get me in touch with me only if you are having geography as an optional. And please drop message ये मत करना यार सर हाउ टू प्रिपेयर फॉर यूपीएससी. ठीक है, इतना बेसिक हार्ड वर्क तो आपको करना ही है. You should not think that how to prepare for UPSC. Rather, if you are having any issues, then do approach me. I'm very happy to help you at my level as well. Right? And MK Yadav sir to वैसे है ही है. Sir is going to help you at all the stages. Right? Now come to the planning and sustainable development in the Indian context. See, this is one chapter, very easy chapter in my opinion. It is planning. So how to do planning at various stages. One, target the area. Next is hill area development, how to do planning for a particular methods. We have learned about various aspects in the geography, be it terrace farming, be it agriculture, crops growing. So you need to plan well. So when you have to plan well, you need to plan the area well. If you are planning the area well, things will become easy for you. So how is that planning you are going to do? For example, if you have a mountainous area and if you have a desert area, there are 2 or 3 plans that are there here. Let me tell you. One, the planning for the hill area. The planning for the hill area is done like this. These are the mountains, and these are also the mountains. These are Western Ghats, these are Eastern Ghats, right? And these are Vindhyas, and these are Satpuras. You cannot create a plan for the entire India because you had plain areas here, right? You had plain areas. You also have deserts here. So a single blanket plan cannot work. So that's why there are multiple plans that have come to India, be it in the name of Green Revolution in the year 1970s. When you look back to India, see, India is a beautiful nation. This nation got independence in the year 1947. But Hardly within 10 to 12 years itself, 1962, it fought a war with, again, China. India lost. 65 में पाकिस्तान के साथ war. 71 में दोबारा war लड़ा. India has lost everything that it had. But we are the 5th largest economy in the world today. How? Our area of planning, our focus is more of welfare. And in the due processes, you will come across our plannings are focused on, if this is desert area planning. How are we going to plan these deserts? Basically, you bought the Indira Gandhi canal into the desert area. Through this canal, there is drip irrigation system that was given, right? Clear? This is one of the major changes that we have done. And the cropping, instead of growing for water intensive crops, you wanted to grow the crops of bajra, millets, ragi, jowar. These are the crops that you wanted to grow in this region, right? Now go to hills. Agriculture should be done, but agriculture, if you have to do, if this is a mountain, don't you think you have to change the topography of the mountain? Only then you can do the agriculture. What you have done is you have went in for terrace farming. You asked people to do the terrace farming like this, and in the terrace farmings, you got to learn that agriculture is now possible in these areas, right? So you educated the people. The hill area development program is not meant for enriching the people into industries, rather understanding the local problems and resolving the basic entities. Now today, with the modern digital era, we are able to give education sitting here. There is a student from Andaman Nicobars who is watching this classroom, right? Last year we had a student from Lakshadweep who have cleared the examination. So how is that? They are an online student. He's a personal, I have mentored him personal level, at the level of personal. So overall, how is this possible? I've met this student only when this student got the rank, and before that it was only online interactions for almost a year. That is today's technology. The digital India has changed everything. The islands ke liye island development program, likewise deserts ke liye desert development program, mountains ke liye hill area development program, where you wanted to store the water, right? Drip irrigation systems in the deserts, likewise drought prone area. Wherever you had water intensive, the crop intensity has been increased. Wherever the potential of water is there you went in for green revolution. So you also went in for, these are the areas of green revolution. Wherever you had good soil, eastern parts of India, you went in for green revolution. Now this is how the planning across various parts of India is done, right? Now this chapter talks about these aspects which are very, very basic in nature, how this planning is done. See, terrace farming in the mountains, traditional methods of extracting wheat, they have been taught to the mountainous people. People engaged in primary activities such as goats, sheep. From there, textile is extracted, wool is extracted, then sold it elsewhere. Likewise, settlements in the Bharampur region, if you look into, similar kind of planning strategies have been put forward here. Likewise, you go to the desert area, even in the desert area also, the planning has been done to focus more on the cattle, and the perspective of sustainable development has been brought in. Now, this is a map of the desert area. This desert area, it tells you how Indira Gandhi canal has changed the life of that people. Indira Gandhi canal bought the canal. Once the canal is got to you, here in this due process, the canal has added water. With that, those crops which required less intensity of water, they have been grown, like jowar, bajra, ragi, millet, and mustard also. With that, people lifestyles, they are poor man's protein, and the quality of this desert has also improved over a period of time, right? Again, a small case study is given. Whatever I told, it is done in the same manner. This is what is about this chapter. And coming to the last entity, see guys, this was a very humble attempt from my side, and if you would have liked it, let me know, and I would be very happy to listen all the comments that you want, that you can convey to me, right? Be it on the good note, on the bad note, whatever. And I would be very happy to see you in the optional classes as well as the GS classes. Thank you, and we'll see you in the further time period. We'll definitely meet, and all the best for your preparation.